The folder sits between us like a loaded gun. My hands won't stop shaking as I watch Ryan's face transform from confusion to rage, his fingers clenching around the manila edges until they crumple. What is this, Willow? His voice carries that dangerous softness I've grown to fear over the years. I'm Willow, and this moment, this exact second, is where I finally stop being afraid. Bank statements, I say, my voice steadier than I expected. Credit card bills, hotel receipts, everything I need to prove you've been lying to me for the past year. The kitchen feels smaller suddenly, like the walls are closing in. The gentle hum of the refrigerator seems to grow louder, filling the space between his ragged breathing and my thundering heart. You went through my things? He slams his palm against the table. The water in my glass ripples. You had no right. I had every right. The words taste like freedom. Just like you had every right to sleep with Chloe while I was pregnant with our child. His face pales. That's ridiculous. Chloe is your secretary, your mistress, the woman you've been spending our savings on? I pull out my phone, scroll through the screenshots. The woman who texts you at 3 in the morning saying she misses you? Ryan's composure cracks. He lunges forward, trying to grab my phone, but I'm faster. Years of dancing around his moods have made me quick. Give me that phone, Willow. His voice drops an octave. You're being hysterical. This isn't like you. You're right. I back away, maintaining distance. The old Willow would have cried, begged for explanations, blamed herself. I gesture at the folder, but that Willow didn't have proof. He changes tactics, his face softening. Baby, let's talk about this. Whatever you think you found, don't. The word comes out sharp enough to make him flinch. I spoke to Dad yesterday about the inheritance. The shift in his expression is immediate, calculating. The mask slips, revealing the predator beneath. Henry told you? His fingers drum against the table. About the money? About everything. I feel a surge of satisfaction watching him squirm. How you approached him 6 months ago, trying to get early access to my trust fund. How you claimed we needed it for the baby's future. We do need it. He steps forward, arms spread wide. Everything I've done has been for us, for our family. Including Chloe? The question hangs between us like poison. Was she for our family too? His face twists. You ungrateful bitch. After everything I've done for you. Done for me? I laugh, and it sounds foreign to my ears. You mean like isolating me from my friends, making me quit my job, controlling every penny I spend while you waste money on your mistress? I made you successful, he's shouting now, spittle flying from his lips. You were nothing before me, just another marketing intern. I was your boss's daughter, I correct him. And you saw an opportunity. Dad told me everything, how you manipulated your way into that promotion, how you used our relationship to climb the corporate ladder. The color drains from his face. Henry's lying. The papers are being delivered tomorrow. I straighten my spine, channeling every ounce of strength I've hidden away. Divorce papers. I'm taking everything, Ryan. The house, the cars, my inheritance, everything. He moves so fast, I barely have time to blink. His hand wraps around my wrist, squeezing until I gasp. You're not going anywhere, he snarls. You're my wife. Mine. I meet his gaze, steady and cold. Wrong. I'm my father's daughter, and you just made the biggest mistake of your life. The security camera in the corner of the kitchen blinks its red eye, recording everything, just like Dad suggested it would. Ryan follows my gaze upward, and I watch the realization hit him like a physical blow. His grip loosens, and I pull free, rubbing my wrist. You should pack a bag, I say quietly. The police will be here soon to discuss the assault they just witnessed, and the financial fraud Dad's legal team uncovered. He stumbles backward, face ashen. You planned this. No, Ryan. I pick up the folder, tucking it safely under my arm. You did. Every lie, every betrayal, every moment of control. You built this trap yourself. I'm just springing it. I walk out of the kitchen, leaving him standing there, broken and bewildered. The old Willow might have felt guilty, but I'm not her anymore. My mother's face crumples as I show her the bruises on my wrist. We're sitting in her garden, the place she always retreats to when life becomes too heavy. The roses she's tended for 20 years watch over us like silent witnesses. I knew something was wrong, Laura whispers, her fingers hovering over the purple marks. All those dinners you missed, the way you'd flinch when he entered the room. I should have told you sooner. The admission tastes bitter, but every time I tried, he'd do something sweet, make some grand gesture, and I'd convince myself I was imagining things. A memory surfaces. Ryan bringing home that diamond bracelet last Valentine's Day, right after he'd lost his temper about the dinner I'd burned. The same bracelet I'd later discovered was bought with my own credit card. Does your father know about this? Mom's voice carries an edge I rarely hear. Dad's the one who helped me set up the security cameras. I pause, watching a butterfly land on her prized roses. He's known about Ryan's manipulation for months, been gathering evidence. Her head snaps up. Henry knew, and he didn't tell me? He couldn't. Ryan was watching everything, monitoring my phone, my emails. Dad had to be careful. The butterfly takes flight, and I wish I could be that free, that unburdened. The baby, Mom says suddenly, her hand reaching for my still flat stomach. Does he know? No, I meet her eyes. And he's not going to. Not until after the divorce is final. The garden gate creaks, and Jessica appears, carrying a laptop and looking grim. My best friend since college. The only one Ryan couldn't completely drive away. I've got the footage from the kitchen, she says, settling beside us. The police want to know if you're pressing charges for assault. Mom's fingers tighten around mine. Assault? Willow, what happened after you left here yesterday? Jessica opens the laptop, and we watch the scene unfold. Ryan grabbing my wrist, his face contorted with rage. The timestamp clear in the corner. Oh, God, Mom breathes. There's more, Jessica says, her voice hard. Show her the emails, Will. I pull out my phone, scroll to the messages I'd rather forget. These are from Chloe to Ryan. They've been planning to access my trust fund for months. She's pregnant too. The silence that follows feels like glass about to shatter. That son of a... Mom stops herself, but her gardening shears snap closed with violent precision. Does she know? About his history? What history? Jessica and I ask simultaneously. Mom stands, brushing dirt from her pants. Before Ryan married you, he was briefly engaged to another woman, Catherine something. She disappeared after breaking off their engagement, moved across the country. I always wondered... My stomach lurches. Why didn't you tell me this before? Because, Mom's voice cracks, by the time I found out, you were already married and pregnant, and he'd isolated you so completely that any criticism would have pushed you further away. Jessica's typing frantically on her laptop. Catherine Marshall, she says after a moment. She lives in Seattle now, and... She pauses, eyes widening. She just posted about workplace abuse and financial manipulation last month. She never named names, but the timeline matches. The pieces click together like a terrible puzzle. He's done this before, I whisper. The control, the abuse, the pregnancy. The inheritance angle, Jessica adds. Catherine came from money too. My phone buzzes. A text from Ryan. Baby, please come home. We can work this out. I love you. Below it, another message arrives from an unknown number. This is Chloe. We need to talk. There's something you should know about Ryan. Mom reads over my shoulder and makes a sound between a laugh and a sob. The walls are closing in on him. Good. I stand, suddenly energized. Jessica, can you find Catherine? And Mom, I need you to do something for me. Anything. Call Dad. Tell him to delay filing the divorce papers. I look at the messages again, a plan forming. I think we just found a way to make Ryan's downfall much more spectacular. Willow. Mom's voice carries a warning. Revenge won't heal what he's done. No, I agree, touching my stomach gently. But it will ensure he never does this to anyone else again. The butterfly returns, landing on my shoulder for a brief moment before taking flight. This time, I know exactly where I'm going. The coffee shop feels too bright, too exposed. Chloe sits across from me, her perfectly manicured nails tapping against her cup, her other hand resting protectively over her stomach. The gesture makes me want to scream. I didn't know, she says, voice barely above a whisper. About you being pregnant too. About Catherine. About any of it. I take a slow sip of my tea, letting the silence stretch until she squirms. But you knew he was married. He said it was over between you. Her eyes dart around the cafe, that you were separated, just keeping up appearances for his career. A bitter laugh escapes me. While I was redecorating our bedroom and planning a nursery, she flinches. Ryan told me you were redecorating because you were selling the house, that the nursery was. Her voice trails off as realization dawns. Oh God. My phone buzzes. A text from Jessica. Catherine's flight lands in an hour. Your dad's sending a car. How far along are you? I asked Chloe, though I already know. The bank statements told me exactly when Ryan started buying prenatal vitamins from 2 different pharmacies. 14 weeks. She wraps her arms around herself. He promised we'd tell everyone after the first trimester. Said he was just waiting for the right time to leave you. The barista calls out another order, making us both jump. Through the window, I spot Ryan's car crawling past the cafe for the 3rd time. He's looking for you, isn't he? I keep my voice neutral. Because you haven't been answering his calls since yesterday. Tears well in her eyes. He's different now. Angry, scary. Last night he showed up at my apartment demanding to know if I'd talk to you. My hand instinctively goes to my wrist, where the bruises are hidden under my sleeve. Did he hurt you? She shakes her head, then pauses. Not physically, but the things he said. She pulls out her phone, shows me the string of threatening messages. I think he's done this before. He has. I slide Catherine's social media post across the table. And you're not the only one he's trying to control right now. Chloe reads, her face growing paler with each line. When she looks up, there's a new understanding in her eyes. The trust fund. That's what this was all about, wasn't it? For both of us? I nod. He's been embezzling from the company, too. My father has proof. Oh, God. She presses a hand to her mouth. The investment opportunity he kept talking about. He wanted me to contribute my savings. My phone buzzes again. Jessica. Catherine's here early. We're heading to your dad's office. Ryan's been calling the company looking for you. We need to go, I tell Chloe, standing. Right now. There's someone you need to meet. She hesitates. I can't. He'll find out. He already knows. I gesture toward the window where Ryan's car is now parked across the street. But right now, you have a choice to make. You can walk out that door alone and deal with him yourself, or you can come with me and help us stop him from doing this to anyone else. The cafe door chimes. Ryan walks in, his face a mask of concern that doesn't reach his eyes. There you are, sweetheart, he says to Chloe, ignoring me completely. I've been so worried. Chloe looks between us, one hand still protective over her stomach. I see the moment her decision crystallizes. Actually, she says, standing to join me, Willow and I were just leaving. Ryan's mask slips. Both of you are being ridiculous. Whatever she's told you is the truth, Chloe cuts him off, just like Catherine's story is the truth. The name hits him like a physical blow. He takes a step forward, but the cafe is crowded now, witnesses everywhere, just as planned. This isn't over, he says, his voice low and dangerous. No, I agree, guiding Chloe toward the back exit where I know Jessica is waiting. It's just beginning. As we slip away, I hear the distinctive sound of someone taking photos with their phone, right on cue. By tonight, Ryan's confrontation with his pregnant wife and pregnant mistress will be all over social media. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about what you do, it's about letting someone's true nature reveal itself to the world. My phone buzzes one final time. Dad, everything's ready. Bring her in. The pieces are falling into place. Now it's time to let Ryan's carefully constructed world crumble under the weight of his own lies. Catherine Marshall looks exactly like me. The realization hits as she walks into my father's office. Same height, similar features, even the way she carries herself. Ryan definitely has a type. I should have come forward sooner, she says, settling into the chair beside Chloe. But he made threats about my family, my career. Dad stands at the window, his reflection ghostly in the darkening glass. The pattern is identical. The isolation, the financial manipulation, the pregnancy. The loss. Catherine interrupts, her voice hollow. He made sure I lost everything. The baby, the job, my inheritance. Chloe's hand flies to her stomach. What do you mean, he made sure? I feel the blood drain from my face as Catherine pulls out a small orange prescription bottle. He started bringing me tea every morning, said it was for morning sickness. Her hands shake. I didn't know about the medications until after I lost the baby. The room spins. All those morning teas Ryan insisted on making. The way he watched me drink them. That strange smile. Willow, Jessica's voice seems far away. You're white as a sheet. The tea, I managed to whisper. He's been making me tea every morning for weeks. Dad moves faster than I've ever seen him, already on the phone with his medical team. Chloe bursts into tears, fumbling through her purse. He's been bringing me coffee every day at the office. Special blend, he said, for the baby. We need to get both of you to the hospital, Dad says, his CEO voice in full command. Now. Wait. Catherine pulls out her phone. There's something else you need to see first. She plays a video, Ryan in a bar, drunk, bragging to someone off camera. Third time's the charm. Once these trust fund princesses lose everything, they're so broken they never come after you. And the prenups? Worthless if they're proven mentally unstable? The office door bursts open. Mom rushes in, clutching papers. The toxicology reports from Catherine's case, she says, breathing hard. I called in every favor I had at the hospital board. Ryan didn't just drug her tea, he falsified her medical records afterward. How did you... Catherine starts. Because he's trying to do it again. Mom's voice cracks. I found prescription bottles in his desk at work. Medications that can cause miscarriage, antipsychotics, mood alternators. My legs give out. Jessica catches me before I hit the floor. The police are on their way, Dad says, still on the phone. But Ryan's already left the office. Security cameras show him heading to the parking garage 10 minutes ago. My phone buzzes. A text from Ryan. Coming home early, baby. We need to talk about your behavior today. Another buzz. Made your favorite tea. It's waiting. The room erupts into action. Dad barking orders for security. Mom calling the police again. Jessica helping Chloe gather her things. But I can't move. All I can think about is the nursery I finished painting last week. The tiny clothes hanging in the closet. The weeks of morning tea. This isn't just about revenge anymore, Catherine says quietly, taking my hand. This is about survival. My phone buzzes again. A photo this time. Our front door, slightly ajar. Ryan's already home. He knows, I whisper. He knows we're all together. That we know everything. Dad's security team moves toward the door, but I stop them. No. This ends now, but not like this. Willow, Mom starts, but I cut her off. He wants us broken, alone, fighting each other instead of him. I look at Catherine, then Chloe. But we're not alone anymore. I dial Ryan's number, putting it on speaker. He answers on the first ring. Where are you, sweetheart? His voice drips with artificial concern. I'm worried about you and the baby. I know about the tea, Ryan. My voice doesn't shake. I know about Catherine's baby, about the prescriptions. A long pause. Then, you've been talking to Catherine? Baby, she's unstable. You can't trust... I trust her more than the man who's been trying to poison his own children. The mask finally slips. You stupid bitch. You have no idea what's coming. No, Ryan. I look around at my family, my real family. You don't. I hang up as police sirens wail in the distance. The game has changed. This isn't about revenge anymore. It's about justice. And this time, he's the one who won't see it coming. The hospital walls feel like they're closing in as I stare at the test results. Traces of misoprostol in my blood work. In Chloe's, too. The same drug found in Catherine's old samples. The levels are low, the doctor says, her voice careful. We caught it early. Both pregnancies appear stable, but he was trying to kill our babies. Chloe's voice cracks. She's curled in the chair beside my bed, looking younger than ever. The doctor leaves us with pamphlets about domestic violence and prenatal care, as if glossy paper could explain away attempted murder. My phone lights up. Dad's calling again. I let it go to voicemail. He means well, but his protective fury isn't what I need right now. The police are already monitoring our house, watching Ryan's movements, waiting. He's going to get away with it again, isn't he? Chloe whispers. Before I can answer, Jessica bursts in, clutching her laptop. You need to see this. She pulls up a financial news site. The headline makes my blood run cold. Tech CEO Henry Matthews steps down amid fraud allegations. Son-in-law Ryan Cooper named interim chief executive. That's impossible. I breathe. Dad would never. He didn't. Jessica's fingers fly across the keyboard. Ryan fabricated everything. Used your father's electronic signature. Backdated documents. He's been planning this for months. My phone buzzes with a text from Ryan. Time to come home, sweetheart. Your father needs our support during this difficult transition. Another buzz. Unless you want the board to see proof of Henry's embezzlement? He's bluffing, Jessica says, but I can hear the uncertainty in her voice. No. I sit up, ignoring the wave of dizziness. He's not. He's been gathering fake evidence against Dad since before we were married. I found the files last week but thought they were old projects. Chloe makes a small sound. The special projects he had me organize. The ones he said were confidential company restructuring plans. My phone rings again. Mom this time. I answer on speaker. They're freezing our accounts, she says without preamble. All of them. Ryan's convinced the board there's evidence of widespread fraud. Your father's being questioned by the SEC right now. The room spins. Everything we've gathered against Ryan, the abuse, the affairs, even the drugged tea, would look like desperate accusations from a family trying to cover up financial crimes. He's going to take everything, I whisper. The company, the inheritance, our reputations. Not everything. Catherine's voice makes us all jump. She stands in the doorway, holding a small USB drive. Remember that drunk video of Ryan? There's more, much more. She plugs the drive into Jessica's laptop. Dozens of videos pop up. Ryan in various bars over the years, bragging about his conquests, his schemes. The timestamps span back further than my marriage, than Catherine's engagement. I've been following him, Catherine says quietly. Every time I heard about another woman, another pregnancy, another accident, recording everything, waiting. Why didn't you come forward sooner? Chloe asks. Because alone I was just a bitter ex making accusations. But now? Catherine gestures at all of us. Now we're a pattern. Evidence. My phone buzzes one final time. Ryan. Board meeting tomorrow at 9 a.m. Your father's future depends on your cooperation. Don't do anything stupid. I look around the hospital room at these women, each of us a step in Ryan's calculated climb to power, each of us carrying a piece of the truth. He thinks we're victims, I say slowly, that we'll stay quiet, stay scared, protect what little we have left. We're not victims anymore. Catherine's voice is steel. We're witnesses. I reach for my phone, not to answer Ryan, but to call someone else, someone who's been waiting for exactly this kind of evidence. Hello? The voice on the other end is professional, crisp. Securities and Exchange Commission, Agent Martinez speaking. My name is Willow Matthews Cooper, I say, watching hope spark in Chloe's eyes, determination strengthen in Catherine's stance. I need to report multiple instances of securities fraud, corporate espionage, and attempted murder. Tomorrow at 9 a.m., Ryan expects to take control of everything my father built. Instead, he's going to learn what happens when the women he thought he'd broken find their voices and use them. The game isn't over. It's just changed players. The boardroom feels like a tomb. 8 pairs of eyes watch me as I stand before them. My father's reputation, his life's work, balanced on the edge of a knife. Ryan sits at the head of the table, wearing the smile I've grown to hate. Mrs. Cooper, the lead board member says, these are serious allegations against your father. They're fabricated. My voice doesn't shake, even as my knees threaten to buckle. Every document, every transaction, was authorized using Henry Matthews' personal codes and signatures. Ryan interrupts smoothly, codes only he had access to, unless... He pauses, letting doubt seep into the room. Unless you're suggesting someone else had access to those codes? Someone like his daughter, perhaps? The implication hits like a physical blow. I see several board members exchange glances. The SEC is already investigating, another member adds, and these screenshots of your recent emotional outbursts on social media don't help your credibility. My phone buzzes. A text from Jessica. Don't react. Ryan's people are deleting Catherine's videos from the cloud. All of them. Another buzz. Mom, the police just called. They're dropping the investigation into the drugged tea. Insufficient evidence. The room starts to spin. Ryan's smile widens. I think what we're seeing here, he says gently, is a pattern of unstable behavior. First, the public accusations about affairs, then the conspiracy theories about poisoned tea, and now these desperate attempts to protect her father's illegal activities. That's not, I start, but he speaks over me. It's understandable given her condition. Pregnancy can be very stressful, especially for someone with her history of emotional instability. The board members nod sympathetically. They don't see the predator beneath his concern. They never do. My phone buzzes again. Chloe. He's having me followed. Someone broke into my apartment last night. Everything's gone. The evidence, the medical records, everything. The walls close in. Every plan, every piece of evidence we gathered, crumbling like sand through my fingers. I move to temporarily suspend Henry Matthews' pending investigation, one board member says, and to maintain Ryan Cooper as interim CEO. All in favor? Hands rise around the table. Ryan doesn't even bother to abstain, his vote a final twist of the knife. Given the circumstances, he says, standing, I think it's best if my wife takes some time to rest. Perhaps at that private facility we discussed? Ice floods my veins. The facility, the same place Catherine was committed after her miscarriage, where she spent 6 months being treated while Ryan dismantled her life. You can't. I back away from the table. It's for your own good, sweetheart. He reaches for my arm. You're not thinking clearly. The boardroom door opens. 2 men in medical uniforms enter. Security stands ready behind them. Mrs. Cooper, one says softly. We're here to help. My phone buzzes one last time. Catherine, don't let them take you. That place, you'll never come back from it. Not really. Ryan steps closer, his voice pitched for only me to hear. Did you really think you could beat me at my own game? I've been playing this board for years. Every member, every vote, every decision, they're all mine. The medical team advances. The board members look away, uncomfortable but unwilling to intervene. Your father's facing 20 years, Ryan whispers, unless you go quietly. Your choice. My hand finds my stomach, where our child grows, still alive despite his best efforts. In my pocket, my phone feels heavy with desperate messages from the women he's destroyed. The medical team is almost upon me. In seconds, they'll take my freedom, my voice, my chance to protect everyone I love. Unless my fingers close around the phone. One button. That's all it would take. One press to activate the live stream Jessica set up, broadcasting this entire meeting to every major news outlet, every social media platform, every stockholder. But if I press it, the evidence of Dad's fraud goes public too. The investigation becomes a media circus. His reputation, the company, everything he built, gone. Ryan extends his hand, triumph gleaming in his eyes. Time to go, sweetheart. The medical team reaches for me. I reach for my phone. Sometimes to win the game, you have to be willing to burn everything to the ground, including yourself. The livestream counter ticks up, 1 million viewers and climbing. Ryan's face contorts as he watches his carefully constructed world implode in real time, his phone buzzing with incoming calls he can't answer. Turn it off, he snarls, but it's too late. The medical team backs away, their earpieces crackling with new orders. The board members shift uncomfortably, watching themselves become complicit in their own scandal. Fascinating thing about live streams, I say, my voice steady. They can't be deleted, can't be manipulated, can't be controlled. The boardroom door bursts open. Agent Martinez strides in, flanked by SEC investigators. Ryan Cooper, step away from Mrs. Matthews Cooper. This is a private board meeting. Ryan protests, but his voice wavers. These are baseless accusations from an unstable. The evidence isn't baseless. Dad's voice rings from the doorway. He looks exhausted but unbowed, Mom at his side. And neither is the federal warrant. Ryan lunges for his laptop, but Jessica's already there, fingers flying across the keyboard. Accessing backup servers now, she announces. Catherine's videos are being restored, all of them. You don't understand. Ryan's desperation bleeds through. Everything I did for the company, for our future, for yourself. Chloe steps into view, one hand protective over her stomach. Just like you did with Catherine, with me, with all of us. The live stream comments explode as viewers recognize her from the viral photos. Behind her, Catherine emerges, holding a familiar orange prescription bottle. The police may have dropped the poisoning investigation, Catherine says, but the FDA is very interested in how you obtain prescription medications under false names. Ryan's mask finally shatters. He grabs my arm, yanking me close. You really think you've won? That anyone will believe you over me? I built this company. No, Dad interrupts. You manipulated your way into it, the same way you manipulated my daughter, my board, and every woman who trusted you. The timestamps on the forged documents, Agent Martinez adds, match exactly with the dates in your drunk confessions. The ones you're currently live streaming to, 2 million viewers now. Ryan releases me so suddenly I stumble. This isn't possible. I destroyed everything. You destroyed copies, Jessica corrects him. The originals were always safe, in a place you'd never think to look. The nursery, I say quietly. The one you never visited. The one where I hid everything while you were busy poisoning my tea. His face drains of color as realization hits. Every document, every video, every piece of evidence, hidden in plain sight, in the one room he avoided because it reminded him of the babies he'd tried to destroy. Ryan Cooper, Agent Martinez steps forward. You're under arrest for securities fraud, attempted murder, and corporate espionage. As they lead him away, he turns back one last time. Willow, please. We can still fix this. For our baby. No. My voice carries across the suddenly silent room. You don't get to use our children anymore. Not mine, not Chloe's, not Catherine's lost baby. It's over. The board members rise one by one, their expressions a mix of shame and revelation. The chairman clears his throat. I move to reinstate Henry Matthews as CEO, effective immediately. Second, another voice calls. All in favor? Every hand rises. Even Ryan's supporters can't ignore the evidence streaming across their phones, their tablets, their consciences. Dad steps forward, but instead of taking his seat, he turns to me. The company needs new leadership, someone who understands both its potential and its vulnerabilities, someone who won't abuse that power. I meet his gaze, understanding dawning. Dad, the board agrees, he continues. It's time for change. The chairman nods. We'd like to nominate Willow Matthews Cooper as interim CEO, effective immediately. Ryan's face, visible through the glass doors as he's led away, twists with impotent rage. The empire he tried to steal crumbling as his victim claims her rightful place. I place one hand on my stomach, feeling the future move beneath my fingers. I accept. The livestream counter hits 3 million as justice unfolds in real time. Not the revenge I'd originally planned, but something better. Transformation. For the company, for the women Ryan hurt, for myself. Sometimes the best victory isn't destroying your enemy's world. It's building something stronger from the ashes of what they tried to take. The nursery walls glow soft pink in the morning light. I stand in the doorway, one hand resting on my swollen belly, watching Catherine and Chloe arrange furniture. Their matching baby bumps make them look like sisters, my sisters, in a way forged by shared survival. The jury's still deliberating, Jessica says, appearing beside me with her laptop. But the SEC evidence is damning. 28 counts of fraud, 3 attempted murders. They found more victims, Catherine adds quietly. 2 others, before me. They're willing to testify. The news should satisfy me, but something feels unfinished. Maybe that's why I agreed to his request for one final visit. You don't have to do this, Mom says from behind me. He doesn't deserve closure. It's not for him. I turn away from the nursery, from the future we're building. It's for me. The prison visiting room smells of industrial cleaner and desperation. Ryan sits across the glass, orange jumpsuit hanging loose on his frame. His eyes still hold that calculating gleam, even now. Come to gloat? His voice crackles through the phone receiver. Come to understand. I meet his gaze steadily. Why the tea? Why not just leave, take what you wanted? Because leaving wasn't enough. A smile plays at his lips. I needed to break you first, all of you. The way my mother broke my father, piece by piece, until there was nothing left. The revelation settles like ice in my stomach. Your father didn't die in an accident. Mother's special tea. His smile widens. Like mother, like son. Except you failed. I leaned forward. We didn't break. We got stronger. For now. He presses his hand against the glass. But our baby will never know you exist. I stand, one hand protective over my stomach. Your mother's in the cell block next door, by the way. The FBI found interesting parallels between your cases. His smile finally falters. You can't erase me. I'm part of you now. Part of... No. I turn away toward the door. You're just a cautionary tale. One we'll make sure never happens again. Back at the office, my office now, Dad waits with the final paperwork. The company's new domestic violence initiative, funded by Ryan's seized assets. Support programs for survivors, legal aid, medical care. The board approved it unanimously, he says, pride evident in his voice, along with the partnership with Catherine's advocacy group. And Chloe's rehabilitation program? Fully funded. He hesitates. There's something else. About Ryan's mother, she's agreed to testify, Mom interjects, entering with fresh tea, certified organic, tested twice. About everything, all the men she poisoned, all the families she destroyed. A generational cycle, I murmur, finally broken. My phone buzzes. The jury's reached a verdict, but instead of rushing to court, I walk back to the nursery where Catherine and Chloe wait. We're not victims anymore, Catherine says, touching her belly. Or survivors. We're warriors, Chloe adds, her voice stronger than I've ever heard it. I look around the room, at the 3 cribs waiting for our children, at the support network we've built from shared pain, at the future we've reclaimed. We're family, I correct them, the kind that breaks cycles instead of people. Jessica appears in the doorway, grinning. Guilty on all counts. Maximum sentences for both Ryan and his mother. The news ripples through the room, but it feels almost anticlimactic. We'd already won our real victory, not in courtrooms or boardrooms, but here, in this nursery built from the ashes of what he tried to destroy. I pick up a small box from the changing table, opening it to reveal 3 identical silver bracelets. Not diamonds like the one Ryan once used to apologize for his violence, but simple bands engraved with a single word: unbreakable. As I fasten them around Catherine and Chloe's wrists, then my own, I realized that revenge wasn't the end goal after all. It was just the catalyst for something greater. Transformation. Not just of ourselves, but of the systems that allowed men like Ryan to thrive. The baby's kick, all 3, as if sensing their mother's triumph. Our children will grow up knowing a different kind of strength. Not the power to break others, but the courage to help them heal. Sometimes the best revenge isn't destroying your enemy's world. It's building a better one in its place.